Hi, this is Simpe Jonas from the Center for Risk Analysis. We are a Johannesburg-based think tank. We specialize in political and economic risk. South Africa is plagued by a high unemployment rate, and it is particularly pronounced amongst the youthful population. Here in this video, we share a short snippet of an exclusive client briefing wherein the director for the Center for Risk Analysis, Dr. Frans Cronje, unpacks this question further.
Out of the economy, the logical progression is to the world of labor. And what has happened now, the consequence? You saw our very high unemployment skyscrapers earlier. What has happened as a consequence of the lockdown? Well, here's some early data. It's now estimated that up to a third of the poorest of South Africans lost their jobs as a consequence of the lockdown, while a further proportion were furloughed without pay. As you move up the living standard spectrum to the richest 25% of professionally qualified employees, there's a degree of job devastation. There's still a degree coming. Staff who've been furloughed in the absence now of a strong recovery likely later lose their jobs. But across the board, the position, particularly for the poorest and most vulnerable in society, has been gravely weakened. And read that weakening against what I told you earlier about the nature of ANC voters as individuals who vote in terms of their material and self-interests. The further and deeper political implication is that throughout the past 20 years, the unemployment burden in South Africa has been one carried by young people, and the numbers here are now quite spectacular. Amongst people aged 15 to 24 who desire to work and are available for work, so school children and the like, don't interfere with these, don't skew these numbers. An amazing 70% now cannot find a job, and tie that indicator back to what we told you earlier about youth sentiment in South African politics. The only way out of the conundrum is very much higher levels of growth, and that can now be firmly established. There is the economic growth trajectory for South Africa since 1994. There's those 4 years of 5% growth, over which I lay for you the official number of people who are unemployed, increasing from around 2 to 7 million, and the expanded number of people who are unemployed. The expanded number includes people who desire to work but aren't actively seeking work. And the point I wish to make is that only when the economy began to breach a growth rate of 5%, did South Africa record a sustained decline in the net number of unemployed people. A point that must also be made on this graphic, because otherwise it becomes misleading, is that the apparent increase in levels of unemployment in the decade after 1994 is somewhat misleading, because it's accounted for in the main by the labor market participation rate that had been very low for black South Africans under apartheid, rising quickly, which is always a positive thing if your participation rate increases, thereby increasing demand for jobs and thereby increasing the number of people who were classified as unemployed. Very different to what happened after 2008, when the increase in the number of unemployed people reflects a stagnant to declining participation rate.
If you enjoyed this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. To become a client of the CRA, please follow the link in the description box below.